Welcome to Spartan SportsBeat. I'm Steve Balson, bringing you the latest in the world of St. Thomas Aquinas College athletics. In this edition, we'll be focusing on the Spartans baseball team, and we'll have with us head coach Scott Muscat. We're also joined today by starting shortstop Frank Salerno. Frank, thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having me.
Frank, let's take a look at your tenure here now. You're entering your senior year. First, tell us a little bit about what it's been like for you personally to be part of the St. Thomas Aquinas program.
It's been great. It's a blessing to be able to play at a collegiate level. And over the years, the program has really progressed. And it's awesome playing here. I do not regret at all coming here.
Well, you have had some personal accomplishments quite a lot. Why don't you share a little bit with us?
Well, my sophomore year, I was first team all conference, second team all region, and then last year, my junior year, I was all conference, all region, ECC Player of the Year, and All American honorable mention. I mean, it's the hard work that gets me there, and every day just going in, giving 110%. It's just a blessing to be able to know that pays off and that people respect that.
And 3 years can go by so quickly. Now here you are as a senior, entering your senior year, coming in as a captain. Do you look back now on the new class that's coming in, guys that you're working with in the gym, and maybe see a little bit of yourself in them and try to pass some of that wisdom along to them?
Yes, definitely the freshmen too. I'm tough on the freshmen because I knew how I was as a freshman, and I think I could have worked a little harder my freshman year. So when I see guys, slacking, I definitely just make sure I tell them, work hard, take advantage of it, and especially your freshman year, because it goes real fast and you don't want to regret anything.
Well, the team has had its measure of success, I think surprising some people in the East Coast Conference last year by finishing first in the regular season. Take us through what that experience was like for you. It was a pretty entertaining season for the Spartans.
Yeah, we had a great team, and I think the main thing was we all had the same goal, and it was very good camaraderie, and from day one we knew what our goal was, how hard we had to work to get there. And we had a very successful season, but I think it ended a little early. I think we could have definitely won the championship, but it doesn't all pan out the way you want it to. And I think a big part of that was the motivation was knowing that we're coming out playing on a $40 million stadium that was just purchased. Thank you to our athletic program. And when you go onto the field every day and see that, it's like you're playing at a professional level because we didn't have that many fans there. But, it's a beautiful stadium, and the atmosphere just really, it gets you going.
Well, let's talk about that a little bit. Of course, you're referring to the beautiful Provident Bank Park located in Pomona, New York, which, thanks to the Spartan Athletic Program this year, was brought in and used as the home site for the Spartan baseball team. Of course, other local colleges utilized it, but none to the extent that St. Thomas Aquinas did. And as you mentioned, that just had to be a special thing. Was there an acclimation process where you as a team had to get used to playing in this stadium before you realized, hey, this is our home field?
It was nerve-wracking. And going out there day one, you want to just try to control your adrenaline. When you go out there, it was just playing in that field and just the feel to it, the grass, the dirt, it was amazing. And, I think we all went out there a little nervous day one, but after that, the other 24 games that we played at home, it was just, we felt comfortable right after the first game.
And did it get to the point where maybe you felt like it was an advantage because your opponents had a little bit of that starstruck feel every time they came in as well?
Yes, I know a few kids that we play against in the conference, and they just say it. They're like, it's unbelievable when you walk in here, you get the chills. And I've never played at a stadium or a field anywhere close to, that good. And they would tell us, coming here, it was like, wow, we're walking into their stadium. It's not we're going to their field, walking into their stadium. And I think they were definitely, a little intimidated, and we felt comfortable.
Well, the Spartans hosted the ECC tournament by virtue of that #1 seed finish last season. As you mentioned, came up a little bit short at the end. So as you look to progress into this season, is there a feeling a little bit of unfinished business and something that you and your teammates want to carry over?
Definitely. And nothing against them but Dowling. They beat us my last 2 years, and every time we play them, it's fun, and they have a great program there. But I think definitely, we're going into the season with a little chip on our shoulder that we lost in our home, and I think that's definitely going to motivate us. And we know how we felt walking off, that last game of the season, and knowing that we weren't going to play in the championship and that we got beat on our field, and definitely that's we're going to remember that once the season starts.
Well, the new year is underway. We're into 2013, and the nature of the beast being that you're going to be hopping on a plane in just a few short weeks to get your season started in Florida. Do you feel you're ready and your teammates are ready?
I think we're all ready. You know, our fall went very well. I thought it was a very successful fall. You know, we had good scrimmages. We inter-squatted like in between us, and I think we're all ready. You know, we had a practice the other day with about 3/4 of our team, and I thought it was a great practice. And I think that if the season started earlier than our first game is, I think we would be 100% ready for it.
Well, under veteran leadership like yours and that of your teammates, I'm certain that the team can expect a lot more success, not only this year, but in the years to come. Frank Salerno, shortstop from the Spartan baseball team, thanks for stopping by.
Thank you for having me.
This is Frank Salerno from the Spartan men's baseball team. I'm Steve Balson, and you're watching Spartan Sports Beat. We're going to be back with the head coach of the St. Thomas Aquinas baseball team, Scott Muscat. Stay with us. And welcome back to Spartan Sports Beat. Steve Balson here, joined now by the head coach of the St. Thomas Aquinas College baseball team, Scott Muscat. And Scott, thanks very much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me, Steve.
Scott, we're going to talk about what has been one of the great programs in the St. Thomas Aquinas athletic department in recent years, and especially during your tenure in the baseball program. First, tell us a little bit about what you did before you came to Stack and how you came to be here.
Well, I played ball down in North Carolina and eventually moved up to New York. Played minor league baseball for a few years, and was out of baseball for several years, and then got the opportunity to take the job in 2000. And at the time, they were NAIA, and we were in the process of transitioning from NAIA to NCAA Division II. And we had a lot of work to do, and we began recruiting and building up the program. And in 2008, we won the regular season, and since then we've been at the top or near the top of the conference. And as you know, last year, 2012, we won the regular season again, and we're just shy of winning the tournament as well.
Before we move on, we'll take a quick step back to your earlier days, and you were honored this past year. Maybe you'd want to talk a little bit about that with your high school induction.
Yes, very long time ago, 1985, 1985. My high school asked me to come back, and they retired my jersey. We won a couple state championships in North Carolina in 1984 and 1985, threw some no-hitters, had a lot of strikeouts, and so it was really a great honor to go back and see my old head coach, Brett Stell, and see the old stomping grounds, so to speak, in North Carolina.
So we move back to the present, and again, in your 14th season, you've gotten to see the program come a long way. What are some of the biggest advances that you've seen and some of the things that have really helped move the program forward in your time here?
Well, there's a few things. Number one, we've gotten in some great coaches that have done some great teaching, really unique skill work, and Coach Garvey being one of them. He's been fantastic. He's helped out with the recruiting. He's been the recruiting coordinator, and he's helped out with the catchers. We've hired a brand new pitching coach this year, Justin Karn. We've always had Manny Del Rosario. He's been here almost as long as I've been here, and Manny's a former minor league infielder. And recently we just hired Matt Murata, who was a graduate last year and was the ECC Pitcher of the Year. And he's helping out Coach Karn with the pitchers and doing some other things with strength and conditioning. Beyond the coaches is just getting better athletes in here, getting some of the top tier guys that we've pursued. Maybe we've lost in the past. We've gotten them in the recent past. We've gotten them, and obviously the field and the facilities is one of the biggest changes. Playing at that Provident Bank Park is a big difference from what we were playing at prior.
Well, there was some success in the program, as you mentioned, in 2008. So it's not exactly like all of the success of the program is attributed to the park. Certainly it's got to help going forward. But as you built the program, there's been a history and a foundation of success to build on, hasn't there?
Sure. Like I said, 2008, we did win the conference regular season. And every year, 2009, 2010, 11, and we have been at the top or near the top. We have not done it in the tournament, in the postseason. So we've been building for quite some time. The stadium just kind of helps out with the recruiting, obviously. And as I think Frank Salerno said, it does make the players come to the field with a little bit different mindset they see this stadium, they see the field, and they play up to it sometimes.
And not just from the standpoint, as you mentioned, Frank Salerno, and you could hear the excitement in his voice talking about Provident Bank Park. From a recruiting standpoint, not just for you, but really for all the coaches in the department, that has to be a great feather in your cap, doesn't it, to be able to bring a prospective student athlete and show them that this is our home facility.
Yeah, it is. And we also have access to the clubhouse and the scoreboard, the multimedia scoreboard, and the indoor batting cage. And yes, the dugouts are different. The field itself is different. And when you have a 35-foot green monster in center field, and it's just a totally different situation, and it does change everything in the way you think about the game and how you play the game, and it does change it from where we were playing for sure. Now,
as you mentioned, coming up a little bit short in the conference tournament last year, is that something that becomes an extra motivation for you and the team this year, or is it just focusing on taking the next practice, the next game, and going from there?
Sure. Any coach that takes his team far in the previous year but doesn't quite win or reach the goal is going to use that as motivation for next year. So that's what I've been talking about. Unfinished business is the mantra, is what I've been saying, and the players are buying into that, and they're hungry to get back to that point in the semifinals in the tournament and get back to the championship game, or get to the championship game and win it.
And as you're a few short weeks away from boarding a plane to Florida and officially starting the 2013 season, how do you feel the team looks right now, and who are the players that we can look at to take charge and lead the way this season?
Well, you mentioned last year's team. We have a good core coming back. Mike Russo, catcher behind the plate, was a Triple Crown winner. He'll obviously be one of our main offensive cogs in the wheel. Frank Salerno, obviously the ECC Player of the Year at shortstop. And Stanley Suzanya's at third base, and he was the Rookie of the Year. All of these are guys that hit 350, 360, 380.
In a wood bat league, it should be mentioned.
In a wood bat league, yes. And so those guys are returning. We have Nick Barbalato in center field, who was a 340 hitter last year, a number 2 hitter, can run, can play his position well, so he returns as well. We brought in some new additions as well. We have a transfer at first base, Kenny Kirshner. We have a young man named C.J. Farigi that's coming in, and he'll be closing for us and DHing. And so we have some guys to replace Antonucci and Wargo, whom we lost last year. So I don't think the offense is going to skip a beat. We'll still score the runs that we did last year. And we're hoping that our pitching will be a little bit better, and that we'll be a little bit deeper in our pitching staff. Losing Murata is going to be big shoes to fill, no doubt about it, the ECC Pitcher of the Year. But without having that one stopper, I think we're going to have 4, 5, 6 guys deep that can give us really good quality starts. And I think we'll have a better 8th and 9th inning this year than we had last year.
Well, it remains to be seen. Of course, a lot of promise on this team and a lot of promise within the Spartan baseball program, in large part attributed to the head coach and our guest today, Scott Muscat. Thanks very much for joining us.
Thanks, Steve.
Scott Muscat, head coach of the St. Thomas Aquinas College baseball team, and they'll be on the field in action in just a few short weeks. We'd like to thank our guests in today's edition, Frank Salerno, shortstop of the Spartan baseball team, as well as Scott Muscat, the head coach. We'd also like to thank you for watching and hope you'll join us again next time. Spartan Sports Beat is a production of the St. Thomas Aquinas College Department of Athletics and JHP Productions. Until next time, this is Steve Balson saying so long from Spark Hill.